Hi, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today we're gonna get into the swing of things. Well, we've actually been in the swing of things all month, but we're gonna get into the swing of things one last time before the end of the month.
好 ，get into the swing of things 就是进入正轨的意思，好，就进入正常的轨道，进入状况的意思。
It's kind of like you get into the rhythm of something. You get to know how to do the thing, what's the motions to make. Like, for instance, if you're dancing. Dancing, swing is like to go back and forth, right? And dancing is kind of like swinging, especially swing dance from the 40s is very much about swinging. So if you get into the swing of something, it makes you feel the rhythm and you can be part of it.
这个 swing 就是摇摆它是有一个 rhythm 有一个旋律在的，所以事实上在英文里面呢 the swing of things 它意思就是 the usual routine 就是一般的每天要做的事情这样的一个 routine routine 那你也可以说它是 the habitual way of doing things 就是习惯上怎么样做事情，那就是一个 swing of things。 好，那这个我们可以讲 get into the swing of things， 也可以说 get in the swing of things， 不过 into 好像是比较常见，所以例如我们可以多举几个例子，例如你可以说 Well, it's a bit confusing at first, but you'll get into the swing of things soon enough。 一开始你可能觉得有一点这搞得糊里糊涂了，但是呢很快你就会进入状况。 Soon enough 就是不用太久很快就会进入状况了。那或者是有一个人新的员工那来了没多久就进入状况，你就可以说After a while, she got into the swing of her job. The swing of her job, 你也可以这样稍微换一下。The swing of her job, 就像刚刚 Angela 老师讲，他的这个事情有那个怎么样的一个规律，怎么样一个 rhythm 在那边怎么做事情。那或者是你去度假回来，你可以说 I've been away on vacation, but I should be back in the swing of things in no time. 应该很快就可以回来了就回到这个等于说收心了，因为很多人这个放假放得太久回来可能要很久才会进入状况，但是呢不行你放完假回来马上就要进入状况了，所以这是 get into the swing of things。 那事实上还有另外一个这个 swing 跟它有关的一个惯用语，我常常看到in full swing。
Oh yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, in full swing 就是怎么样，就是全面展开就这个 in full operation 的意思就达到最高点了in full swing。 好，所以这个例如你可以说by the time we arrived, the party was already in full swing.
And that is the classic use for it.
这最经典的用法就是这样子
，yeah.
就是你这个到的时候呢，这舞会已经全面展开了，已经很热闹了。
And it's really for things that are coordinated movements, like work, like factories, like big projects. So if you can say that the project was in full swing, that means that the project was running along full steam ahead. All the parts were moving and everything was being done. Or you could say that the factory was in full swing. That means every single machine was running and all the people were doing all their things. So to get into the swing of things, it's originally about dancing, which is different people doing things all together in a way that they could potentially run into each other and cause a disaster. But everyone is doing the right thing at the right time, and it's organized motion. It's a dance. So anything that has a lot of moving parts to it, you can apply this metaphor, this phrase to.
那这个很重要，这个字典上没有告诉你的就是呢这个用法呢 to be in full swing， 这个东西是有协调性的，就是要很多不同的人不同的部分都必须要做出贡献然后让它这个东西整个 run 得很好。
You could even say the economy was in full swing.
你就包括经济因为经济要好不是一个人好就好了有很多部分都要合所以你可以说这工厂呢各部分各部门所有的机器都发挥它该有的功能了那就是一个 in full swing。或者你可以说 work on this project is in full swing， 就是我们这个 project 要做的事情呢现在已经全面展开了。好，所以 to be in full swing 这也是一个很好用的一个用法。那另外呢我们在杂志上还介绍了另外一个这个 go with a swing 这是比较 British 的一个用法。
I have never heard this term.
That's why.
Yeah, American.
Yeah, 这是 British English To go with a swing 就是 to be lively and enjoyable 的意思。
Oh, Americans would say go with the flow.
那美国人可能会说 go with the flow.
And I might be biased, but I think that one sounds better. Because like the river is flowing in one direction, it's very hard to go upstream, but very easy to go downstream. You just go with the flow. You go along with what everyone else is doing.
Well, I think it's slightly different.
I know. Yeah. I was just thinking about that. Go with a swing, to me, implies that like a swing is a motion in a certain direction, and so you're going with it. So, but it's more temporary and more periodical than to go with the flow, which is long and only one direction.
Yeah, 这个真的是英式英语跟美式英语的差别。好，那英式英语里面的 go with the swing 就是这个有趣exciting 的意思啊。例如，你可以说这个 Well, you might like to organize a few games to help the party go with the swing.
Oh, yeah, it is different than go with the flow.
Yeah, 所以这个就是说你要弄几个这个游戏，设计几个游戏哈，这样这个 party 才会好玩，才会有意思。
I think we'd say get into swing.
那美式英文可能是讲 get into swing 那刚刚这个 Angela 介绍的 to go with the flow 那个意思有一点不太一样。Go with the flow 有点那种跟着大家一起走，甚至于可能有那随波逐流的意思但是可能没有那个随波逐流那个负面的意思。好，所以我想这个我们今天这样子聊天聊一聊，我觉得是个很好的一个大家可以从里面学到一点，就是美式英文呢跟英式英文有的时候会有一些东西是不太一样的就英国人会讲，但是美国人可能不熟悉他到底在讲什么东西Okay, enough with the title.
Oh, yeah, but the title was the main dish, actually. So we didn't even have any we didn't have any appetizers. We just stuck you with the main thing.
Yeah, 我们就直接就进入主题了就是 the swing, go into the swing of things.
Or get into the swing
Get
of
into,
things.
不是 go, 应该用 get.
Yeah, let's do the dialogue first, and then let's talk about go and get, because they're a very important difference.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about go and get now.
All right.
If you go into something, you're walking with your 2 feet. Mm-hmm. But if you get into something, it implies that you're going to sit down or become a part of it. So you go into a room, but you get into a car.
好，所以 go into 是进入，那 get into 呢，感觉起来好像进去还可以坐下来那种感觉。
But you become part of the car in a way.
所以其实感觉 get into 就是你变成了它的一部分。所以例如你可以讲，我们讲 get into the car， 就是你进了那个车子之后，你要弯腰，你要坐下来，好像你成为那个车子里面一部分。但是 go into 的话呢，就没有这个感觉你可以 go into a big house.
Right. So you go into a line of work, but you get into a project. So you become part of the project or you enter into a line of work. You can see there's a difference, and it's kind of really hard to explain, actually.
Yeah, 那其实最好的一个办法就是你记这个 collocation 你可以 go into a line of work 就是你进入了这一个行业那感觉起来空间还是很大嘛，你只是进入了这个行业但是呢 get into a project 你进入开始做一个计划了，所以you become part of it, 而且感觉起来 you're surrounded by it.
Yeah. You become one of the members of it.
对，好，所以这个 go into 跟 get into 它在这个概念上或者是在联想上面会有一点点不同。go into 感觉起来是进入比较大的空间。
Yeah. It's more like you enter or you start doing something, but getting into something also implies interest in a way that going into doesn't.
所以 get into 另外有的时候它还暗示你是有兴趣的那种感觉。
Like, I've really gotten into space flight lately. I'm just keep reading everything I can about the Galileo project.
那个就是对什么产生兴趣的意思。
I'm
really getting into 什么什么，就是我对这开始有那个兴趣了。
Yeah. Okay, so now let's read our dialogue.
Okay.
It's between 2 men. And I'm not a man, but I'm going to read the dialogue. So I'm going to read the intro to the dialogue, which is the italics there, which is like the narrator. And then I'm going to read Scott and Bruce. So I'm going to change my voice tone a little bit so you can tell who it is, but you're just going to have to use your imagination that I'm Scott and Bruce. Scott and Bruce are roommates and also classmates at Harvard University. I can't believe spring break is already over. Yeah, but it's nice to be back in classes. Are you kidding? Not at all. It's good to get back into the swing of things. Well, I'd rather be back in the dorms in bed. Scott, you can't sleep your life away. True, but at least I can sleep through the first class. Call me when it's over. So, yeah, Scott's a little bit chill. He's having a hard time getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, 所以他还很难回到这个学校的规律的很难进入状况。Yeah.
So, Scott and Bruce are roommates. That means they live at the university and they share a room together. And they're also classmates. So not only do they share a room, they have to see each other in class because they're in the same major. And they're both at Harvard University. So they're either rich or they've got scholarships.
好，所以呢，他们是寝室的室友啊，那他们也是同学啊，在这个哈佛大学。不过 classmates 这个字啊，最近我看到不少人在讨论这个字啊，就是中文里面的这个同学的用法好像感觉起来比英文还要多哈。他是我大学同学，他是我这个高中同学啊。例如说他是我大学同学，你如果介绍说he was my college classmates， 对英文听起来好像觉得。
Now, what that means is different than if they're a high school or grade school classmate. So in a grade school classmate, they're literally someone in your class, like you're in class with them. You're in the same room often. But a classmate in college means that you are all from the same year. Because we'll say class of 96. That means everybody who graduated in 96 is the class of 96. So those guys are my classmates because we all graduated in the same year. Did I, in fact, spend time in classrooms with them? Probably not.
所以呢，这个如果讲大学同学啊，事实上高中同学有时候也是这样子哈。就是在英文里面，如果你讲到 classmates 的话，有的时候是指你们是同一年的那个班哈，就几年班哈，97年班啊，那个班是比较广义的班，所以不见得是跟你在同一个教室上课的。好，那美国很多高中其实也是这样，你这个其实每一个科目可能都会有不同的同学啊，到不同的教室去上。所以有人讲说，其实你讲大学同学呢，这个我们讲中文讲的他是我大学同学，有的时候你英文里面不一定要用 classmate 这个字。
Because they might not be your same year.
对，因为他不见得跟你同一年啊，那更不见得是跟你同一班啊。所以例如你可以说 well, we went to college together.
Yeah, we just don't say this word. I mean, you might say, British people might say schoolmates, but that implies, I mean, British people don't say school to mean university, and they're very weirded out by the fact that Americans do. They're like, what do you mean school? School is grade school and high school. What are you talking about? Yeah, so we just say someone I went to university with, which is not very tidy, but what we say.
好，所以你也可以说好 someone I went to university with.
Or someone I went to college with, because Americans like to say college for university.
好，那这个意思就是说他是我大学同学啊，或者甚至你可以说wow, I met her in college. 好，就可以这样，对。
At college, we would say.
At college.
Yeah, meaning at the location of it, because in college, we don't say that as much.
OK. 啊，所以这个 I met her at college 啊，就是我在大学那个地方认识她，那其实也就是大学同学的意思。好，所以我们讨论也许做一个小小的结论哈，就是 classmate 这个字呢，在英文的用法不像在中文里面这么广泛啊，然后他是我同学啊，尤其大学同学，因为不见得你们是同一班上课，也不见得是同一年毕业的啊，或同一年的学生啊，所以这个时候会有一些不同的说法啊，例如说 someone I met in college.
Yeah. So Scott starts off by saying, I can't believe spring break is already over. And spring break has got kind of like a mythological story now in the United States. Spring break is originally 1 week in the spring semester that everyone takes a break, and it's just before midterms usually, or sometimes after midterms. But anyways, it's 1 week in the middle of semester where everyone takes a break. And it's become this weird tradition in the United States for college kids to go to some exotic location like Florida beaches and spend a lot of money on hotels and drinking and partying. Now, this is the myth. How many students actually do that? I don't know. Probably only rich students. Nobody that I knew personally ever did that kind of spring break, but that's always in the movies.
所以 spring break 这概念也很好玩哈，它本来就是差不多1个礼拜的哈，这个所谓的春假。但是现在在美国文化里面呢，有一股这个好像所谓是 myth， 就是大家开始对春假有一个想法，或者是受到媒体或者电影的影响，就是这个春假呢，就是可能要去旅行哈，可能几个同学跑到某一个度假胜地啊什么啊，去那里啊有去 party 啊，去狂欢啊，去什么的啊。不过 这个之所以称为 myth， 是因为 Angela 老师说他认识的人很少真的能够做到那一点。
那很少 ，nobody did this。
没有人那样做哈，所以只有电影里面你会发现他们所谓的 spring break 对一些可能家庭环境很富裕的人来讲，或者一些爱玩的小孩这个学生来讲，这个春假就是表示要出去大玩一番了。
Or I just wasn't wealthy enough. I think that there is such a thing as wealthy people, wealthy students going on spring break, but
也许
nobody I know. Okay, so then Bruce goes, yeah, I can't believe it's already over. That week went by so fast. That is I completely agree with what you said. But, yeah, but... So if somebody goes, yeah, and then they immediately follow it with but, it means they didn't really completely agree with what you said. Like, yeah, sure, but actually, it's nice to be back in classes. So Scott's implying that, like, wow, I can't believe it's already over. I could have been on break for far longer. But Bruce is actually saying, no, I'm happy to be back.
好，所以 yeah but 好，其实这个意思就是他不是真的很同意你说什么但是因为一开始先跟你yeah， 那又来一个 but， 这才是他真正的想法。他说 it's nice to do something， 就这个还不错，做这件事情还不错。所以他说做什么事情还不错呢？ be back in classes， 回来上课还不错。那各位要注意，这 classes 在这里是复数因为他回来上课，他不可能只上一堂课嘛，他会上很多课。好，那关于 class 这个字呢，我记得我这个很多年前问过 Bruce 像中文里面我们讲说大学你说我有课或我没课，我有课你是要说 I have class， 还是要说 I have classes， 还是说 I have a class？
Yes，
都可以。
But they all have different meanings.
Okay, yeah, that's what Bruce said.
Yeah.
所以呢
I have class means right now I'm going to class, like immediately.I have classes means in my schedule this week or in this semester, there are classes I have to attend. And I have a class is somewhat like I have class, but it's not as immediate.
Okay, so do you say I have a class?
That means today there's a class I have to go to. Or the reason I can't meet you is because I have to go to a class.
所以呢 I have a class 就是好像现在我马上就有一个课要去了。
No.I have class means 马上要去。
OK， 那 I have a class 是说我今天有排定一个课。
Yeah. So you would use it in different contexts. So it's
That's
like
complicated.
Well, not really, no. Like, let me make it simpler.
Okay.
If I and you ran into each other on campus, and you can say this if you're a teacher as well, by the way. So if we ran into each other and you'd be like, hey, let's go out for coffee. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to, but I have class. Which means I'm immediately going to my destination, which is teaching or taking a class. But maybe later, coffee would be awesome. Yeah. But if somebody was like, oh, can we meet at 3 o'clock to discuss this project? And you'd be like, I'd love to, but I have a class then. You could also say I have class then, but we'd more likely say I have a class then. And then, what was the last one? I have classes. Yeah, so like someone's like, okay, well, how about next week? And you're like, well, I have classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but Friday we can get together.
So it's more like a schedule.
Yes.
Yeah. 好，所以呢，这个 Angela 帮我们讲清楚了这个I have class 是我现在马上就要去上课所以他刚刚讲说你碰到朋友或碰到同事说然后我们去喝咖啡吧，你说不行 I have class 因为我现在就要去上课了。那 I have a class 就是指排定今天可能排定的什么时候会必须有一个课，所以例如说现在1点钟，那你朋友跟你讲说我们3点钟去喝咖啡可不可以？那这时候你可能不行了 I have a class then 那个时候我必须要上课。那 I have classes 那就是指说我的课程表上这个礼拜排了什么时候很多很多的课 I have classes。 OK， 好，所以大家搞清楚了。那如果说我没有课呢 What do you say? I don't have class.
No, because that means that 我没有水准。
小心
Well, even actually saying I have class could imply in the right context. You're like, well, I have class, even though he doesn't. Yeah. But so I have no classes means scheduling wise. Like, oh, I have no classes on Friday and Saturday, so I'm good on those days. I'm open. Let's get together. Okay, but if I have no class, that means on that particular day I don't have a class, and it's the context. So like, oh, we're trying to find a coffee date. Well, I have no class between 3 and 5. Does that work for you? So I don't have to be in class at that time. That's what I have no class means in that context.
所以呢这也是一样复数的感觉是排定的课所以你说 I have no classes on Friday 就礼拜五我没有排课那 如果你讲说现在要去干嘛？我现在没有课，你可以说 I have no class between now and maybe 5 o'clock. 所以弄清楚了 Thank you for clarifying it. OK, 那所以接下来说我很高兴回来上课了。
And then, okay, so Bruce has just said it's nice to be back in classes. It's nice to be back in my schedule. But Scott goes, are you kidding? Like, what? So clearly Bruce is someone who enjoys studying, and Scott's only there because he needs a degree to get a job, and he wants to get it over with as fast as possible or as easily as possible so he can get to making money, I suppose.
对啊，所以这个 Scott 就说你开玩笑吧，你居然觉得回来上课还不错。那 Bruce 怎么回答呢？
So he goes, not at all. I'm not at all kidding. Like, you think I'm kidding? No, that is not true at all. No way.
好，所以 Bruce 说 not at all 就是我一点也不是在开玩笑 I'm not at all kidding.
And he then says it's good to, and drum roll, get back into the swing of things. It's good to get back into the normal rhythm of my life. Spring break was nice, but it kind of messed me up because all this stuff happened that I'm not used to happening. Yeah. Bruce is a guy who likes a good schedule. He likes things to be regular and predictable, which, you know, people do.
好，所以呢 it's nice to, it's good to 意思都差不多，就是这样还不错。所以 Bruce 说我是真的觉得回来呢要让一切又上轨道回到我日常的规律生活，我觉得不错。
And so then Scott makes a joke because Bruce said that he's happy to be back in the swing. And then Scott says, well, I'd rather be back in the dorms, in bed. I'd rather be back in the place, the dorms are the dormitories, and that's the assigned student housing.
Why is it in plural?
Because, I don't know, I'm going to make a guess that it's either about the rooms, that there's more than one room in the dorm, or generally there's never just one dorm.
So can we say, I'd rather be back in the dorm?
You totally could, because the college that I went to, they had one building, and that was the dorm. And so we said the dorm.
好，所以这个 dorm 呢，在这里用单数也可以。好，那用复数的话，感觉起来好像是它有很多栋不同的这个
Could just be 2.
也可能是2栋这个宿舍所以这里单数复数都可以。好，那这里还有呢，他在开玩笑因为 Bruce 说他 it's good to be back， 但是他说 back into the swing of things。那这个 Scott 说 I'd rather be back， 我也想要回去，但是要回去的是我的宿舍。然后呢 in bed 它有2个常见的意思，一个是你在床上，可是不一定睡觉。好，所以She was in bed for a week when she had the flu.
Oh, true, yeah.
那就是她不一定在睡觉那或者是I'd like to spend more time in bed reading and relaxing. 所以
I don't actually like reading in bed. I'd rather read on the sofa.
Yeah, you're right. 不过这个 in bed 就是躺在床上不一定在睡觉，但是另外一个可能也有可能在睡觉。就是 asleep in one's bed。好，所以例如说这个有人来找你太太，你可以跟他讲 Well, she's in bed already. She had a rough day. 她今天很辛苦，所以 she's in bed already.
And it implies that she's already asleep.
对，那就表示她大概已经在睡了或者你可以说 Well, I called you last night, but your son said you were already in bed, and he didn't want to wake you. 所以我打电话给你但是你昨天晚上打给但是你儿子说你已经睡了。那他不想吵你因为大概把你吵醒会被你揍所以
You know, I'm just realizing we wouldn't say he's already asleep. That's a little too personal. That's why we say in bed. Because saying that you're asleep is like giving away, I don't know, it's like too intimate. I never realized that until just now, but that's why we don't say he's asleep. And if somebody said, oh, he's asleep, you would think that person is a child or someone is a really close friend.
所以呢各位注意他已经睡了。英文比较通常不会讲 he is asleep， 因为 he's asleep。 Angela 老师刚刚讲说他突然感觉原来为什么他们不讲，因为那感觉太 personal， 太亲密了，感觉起来再不然就只有小孩可能会 asleep。 好，所以注意通常来讲他已经睡了，英文就讲 he's in bed。
Just like we don't like talking about bodies in English either.
好，所以这个地方他说我要回去那这里他当然是想要去，不一定了，躺在床上睡不睡他的事。
But, I mean, Bruce understood him to say that he wanted to be asleep because his response says, Scott, you can't sleep your life away. And I actually can imagine our Bruce saying that as well. To sleep your life away means to just waste your time sleeping.
就是把你的人生不能就这样睡掉了 啊。那或者例如你说 well you can't dream your life away， 每天做梦就把你的这个人生就那梦掉了啊。
Yeah, but that's not sleeping dreaming. That's imagining things.
Yeah, 那个是幻想的意思了哈。所以 sleep your life away。另外一个我常常看到 drink your life away.
Yeah, alcoholics drink their life away. Yeah.
对，你喝醉酒的，每天就喝啊喝啊，人生就这样虚掷了啊。所以这个他就 Bruce 跟 Scott 讲，你不可以啊，这人生不可以就这样睡掉了。
And Scott's like, yeah, that's true. I can't sleep my whole life away, but at least I can sleep through first class. I can at least not get up that early. Call me when it's over. Although, why does he need to be called when it's over? Is there a second class he's got to be ready for? Who
Maybe.
knows?
Yeah, but he's very determined.
It's rhetorical. He's like, call me when it's over. Don't bother me until everything's over.
啊，所以他不见得真的说要你打电话给我了，就是反正我要去睡觉就对了啊。那 sleep through 这个片语也不错啊，就是睡着没有被吵醒。例如某人可能会 slept through the movie， 好，去看电影呢，整个电影就睡。
What a waste of a movie ticket, though. Also, they're so loud. How could you?
Well, somebody can do that.
A French movie, you could.
Probably. 好，或者是某人会 sleep through a huge earthquake.
Again, I can't see that, but okay.
I had a friend who did that.
Did anybody sleep through the Joari earthquake? Do you know?
I don't know.
I have not heard a story about that yet.
好，但是 sleep through 这个片语，各位可以顺便学下来。
Okay, well, that's all the time we have. Now we have to get out of the swing of things and go do something else. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.